Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program 1.0.5 Gateway Program, the program where we put Kerbals on Duna and bring them back safely. As you can see, we are just out of Kerbin SOI here, and just starting the 300-day journey to Duna. And we're about to do that, and in this episode we will get to Duna. But first, we have to do some science. Alrighty, we are back, and we have all of our science ready to rock and roll. I'm just gonna transmit the crew report real quick, because that doesn't have any diminished returns. And I might as well transmit this EVA while I'm at it too. Now it is time for the time warp to Duna. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are now in Duna SOI for the first time. I have put a Kerbal in Duna SOI in career mode without any mods. And you see the crew are very happy. They've been cramped in this Mach 2, yeah, Mach 2 command pod, that's what it is. Been cramped in here, and they can see Duna and Ike, and this means they are just, oh, I don't know, just a couple days away from docking to the station, which will be a much comfortable stay. And after that, probably going to wait about 10 days, and then we are going to drop. I'm not sure who's going to go. I know Jeb for sure is going to go because he's a pilot, but I don't know if I want to send the scientist or the engineer, because we might need to repack the parachutes on the lander. But now, it's time to do more science since we're in a new SOI here. Alrighty, we have science in hand, some of it transmitted, and now it is time to set the maneuver node here. I checked beforehand, it should only take less than 600 meters per second of delta V to get into a decent orbit, see? Not bad at all. Yeah, the station's at 150, I don't know, let's put it at maybe 200. That's 230. That'll do right there. And then of course we'll have to match inclination. That shouldn't be too much of a big deal. I think I checked that and it only took like 80 something meters per second. So let's just time warp here and watch Duna and Ike slowly come into focus here. Ooh, very nice. Spectacular view. I love Duna. I love the look of Duna and Ike. Make a very good pair. Jeb isn't advanced as a pilot, so I have to manually do this. But after this, after touching down on Duna, he should be plenty qualified to hold maneuver node. In fact, the The most advanced person we have on this mission is Bill. He's a level 2 engineer. And since we're not biome hopping, I'm thinking of bringing Bill to the surface and Bob staying up and researching various things. We don't have a burn time, so that's inconvenient. I might test the waters at maybe T-minus 2 minutes. Somewhere around here. It would only take about 44 seconds, so time warp to the appropriate time. Making sure not to over warp. And here's our orbital insertion burn right here. We are not low over Duna yet. We are in orbit. Very nice. Set the target and match inclination. Very little delta V to do that. It's very nice. Alrighty, we have matched inclination, and this looks almost perfect timing right here. Let's see if we can set up a rendezvous. Looks like we can, right around there. Let's turn off the radio there for a second. Alright, that's kind of a risky closest approach, but we'll fine tune it once we are done with the burn. We will fine tune it with the RCS system. We have plenty of RCS fuel. And I overwarped, but should it be much of a big deal? Really? Another thing I have to worry about is the slope on Duna. The lander is not very particularly wide. It is more of a top-heavy thing, so I have to be very, very careful on that. Alrighty. And just quickly looking for places to land. I don't know, maybe this crater would be interesting. Of course, I would want it to be equatorial so we can meet up with the station afterwards. Looks like the Kerbal's back at the KSC. We'll have to study the maps, topographic maps, and see if that's a feasible plan. But for now, we are going to time warp to our encounter. And also, a good thing, we have very, very little relative velocity, so we will save a lot of fuel. I kind of overpacked a lot of fuel, so this might be a stop for further interplanetary expeditions. Alright, we have matched speeds with it, and looks like we are go for docking. I'm not a huge fan of turning stations, just for this thing to dock. Does make it a lot harder, but that's kind of what you have to do sometimes. In real life, the International Space Station does not turn for the Soyuz or anything. It's just one of the challenges they have to face. And there it is with all its glory. Yeah, I forgot, we are going to have to jettison this big, giant fuel tank. I'll go ahead and use the fuel from here to put it in this tank right here, because that's below the lander, and of course, that's not ideal for the situation. I don't want to have to land on that giant Rhino engine. I'm going to give it a little kick this way, so we can slip around and dock up. Alright, let's also open up the docking port shield here. See, we're not quite lined up with the port here. Yeah, like that. There we go. And we are docked. 162, so below 200. We're still in space high above Duna. Has plenty of fuel, so I'm going to go ahead and fuel that up. When the lander detaches, what I'll do is I'll detach this. Maybe I can use this to do the deorbit burn. Solar panels aren't quite lined up, but that's okay. Now it is time to transfer the Kerbals to the station. I just have to figure out where the door for the hitchhiker module is. Alrighty, Jebediah Kerman is in the station. Has a lot more room where they can float around and not be so cramped. And now here is Bill. Now Bob, you want to make the transfer? Alrighty, and with that, I'm just going to go ahead and let them wait in here for 10 days, and then Jeb and Bill will head down to the surface. In the meantime, Mission Controller is back at the KSC. Will be studying topographic maps of Duna, made by, I don't know, one of these satellites, probably this one, because it's in a polar orbit. Lower altitude is better when landing on parachutes, at least, because you'll have a little bit thicker atmosphere in these lowlands than you would say up on this big hill. So primary location would probably be somewhere in here, but at the same time this would be cool to land on, but it'd be a lot more difficult to hit than this. And I have not really done many precise landings on Duna. Mostly I haven't really done them at all. So just gonna end it here and wait just a couple more days, and then they will head down to the surface.